The Bush administration seemed to me, and when we were watching this unfold a decade and a half ago, it seemed to me that the Bush administration was targeting this agent and two others, we'll get to that later, but Brugman and the two others for this public persecution, I call it, for political reasons to set an example. You agree with that?
Well, I do. I mean, we have, his case involved some issues at the border where he was chasing down some illegal aliens that had crossed into America illegally. He gave them commands in Spanish, and the individuals refused to follow those commands. They were squatting on the ground. He used his foot to push them to the ground, and for that he was prosecuted in a federal court in Austin, Texas, and received 2 years in a federal prison, and also it obviously destroyed his finances, his life, and everything.
So you're asking the president, the 45th president, Donald Trump, for a full pardon, and this would essentially clear his record. And that's important, right? When you're applying for jobs. And just going on with your life, you always have this burden on your back, if you will, that you went to jail for a crime that really, if you look at the facts, a crime that didn't happen. It's debatable whether this thing was a crime. So you're asking for a full pardon. You're going to the White House for this, correct?
Right. We have taken him on as a client pro bono. And Gary is also a Coast Guard veteran. And the crime certainly doesn't match the misconduct that occurred. At most, in my opinion, a letter of reprimand, oral counseling of some sort. But 2 years in a federal prison for what he did is outrageous. We have filed a pardon petition to the President of the United States, to the Office of the Pardon Attorney, and we're trying to obviously to get this case before the President. And as you know, we have a group of congressmen have actually written a letter to the President asking that Gary Brugman be pardoned. Again, what he did and what he received, it's total injustice in our opinion.
Convicted of run-of-the-mill incidents. If you listen to him, in his own words, we have it on videotape from many, many years ago outside of court, and I want to play it here. This is incident number 1, which transpired in January 2001. This is Agent Brugman. Roll tape.
It looked like he had aliens all around him, and there were 2 aliens behind him that weren't complying with his task direction. And they had their bags and were getting ready to run or attack the alien, attack the agent. I didn't know what was going to happen. So I ran up, and with the bottom of my foot, I pushed them both on the ground and told them to sit down.
All right, so he's guilty of enforcing the law, but in this case, because he was, I guess, in a sense, multitasking, he was surrounded by illegal aliens who could be a threat to him and his partners. He used his foot instead of his hand to make sure the guy obeyed his commands.
Yeah, and it's great to do Monday morning quarterback, but when you're down there in the situation, you don't know if these individuals have weapons, what their intent is. We know that we've had, the drug cartel uses the border on a regular basis. We've had violence on the border. And so, again, it's almost incredible that in our country, this border agent, no one was injured, by the way. There's no, lasting physical damage at all, received 2 years in a federal prison for this act. I mean, it is sad that we, have these types of cases, and it's now been 16 years later, and Gary simply wants his name cleared, and we've submitted that pardon on his behalf as a former veteran, and he qualifies under our program for assistance.
I keep saying on this program over and over again, and I'll keep saying it till it changes, it's a war zone down there. And so incident number 2 kind of goes to that. Again, in Agent Brugman's own words, this took place in February, a month later, February 2001. Roll tape.
I grabbed the other one by the legs, and we started the fight. He slammed me on the ground, and I was tired from running. I had my body armor, I had my weapon, and he was sitting on top of me, and he had me by my neck, and I had him by his shirt, and he had my arm pinned on the ground, and I said, oh my God, I'm losing. I said, I'm going to lose this fight.
All right, so in other words, he's being choked. He's fearing for his life, so his reaction was to get the guy, the illegal alien, off of him, so he slammed him in the face, hit him in the nose, broke his nose, and then these guys were eventually apprehended and processed, and then, of course, they came down, that would be the Bush administration, came down on Agent Brugman, and the prosecution focused entirely on the nose being broken, right? Not the fact that this was a life or death struggle.
Right, and actually he was not convicted. He was charged with the offense of pushing the individual with his foot. The government used this other incident to try to do a pile-on in his case. But again, he, the issue that he was convicted for was using his foot to have one individual follow commands. And again, it's not just when you've got a group of senators and congressmen that have written the president, they've looked at the facts in this case, and they overwhelmingly agree that the circumstances that occurred in this case did not justify what occurred to this fine American.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.